To be called a planet, an object has to be round, and it must orbit a star. Nothing else has its exact same orbit. There are 8 big planets that orbit the Sun. The 4 planets closest to the Sun are made mostly of rock. They are called terrestrial, or rocky planets. The 4 planets farthest from the Sun are big balls of gas. They do not have a soiled surface. Mercury is the planet closest to the Sun. It is the smallest of the 8 big planets. It orbits the Sun faster than any other planet. 1 year on Earth, the time it takes to orbit the Sun, is 365 days. 1 year on Mercury is only 88 days. During the day on Mercury, it gets very hot. At night, it gets very cold. Scientists from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration sent a spaceship called Messenger to Mercury. NASA is a space program for the United States. In March 2011, Messenger became the first spacecraft to orbit Mercury. Messenger sent photographs of Mercury to scientists on Earth. Venus is the hottest planet in our solar system. It has an atmosphere of thick clouds. The clouds hold in heat like a blanket, making Venus very hot. The sun's light reflects off Venus's clouds. That makes Venus look very bright. Only the moon is brighter in Earth's night sky. Magellan, a spaceship sent to Venus, was able to peek beneath the planet's thick clouds. It took photographs of the surface of Venus. Magellan showed that most of Venus is covered in lava, the rock that come from volcanoes. Mars is more like Earth than any other planet in our solar system. Scientists think there may have been flowing rivers on Mars long ago. They are curious about where the river water is now. It may be frozen beneath the surface. Mars has 2 very small moons. They are shaped like potatoes. The moons are called Phobos and Deimos. Pretend you are standing on Phobos. When you look up, Mars would cover a huge part of the sky. That's because Mars is so close to its moon. Now pretend you are standing on Earth's moon. When you look up, Earth does not cover as much of the sky. That's because Earth is far away from its moon. Several spaceships have traveled to Mars carrying equipment to explore the planet. Robots called rovers roll across the surface taking photographs, looking for water, and studying rocks. 2 rovers called Spirit and Opportunity landed on 2 sides of Mars in January 2004. Spirit stopped working in 2010. But Opportunity kept going, continuing to send information back to Earth. Jupiter is our solar system's biggest planet. It is so big that all the other planets in the solar system could fit inside it. The huge storm on Jupiter is called the Great Red Spot. The storm is like a hurricane on Earth, but Jupiter's storm has been blowing for 100 years. Earth has 1 moon. Mars has 2 moons. Jupiter has at least 63 moons. Jupiter's 4 biggest moons are Europa, Callisto, Io, and Ganymede. Scientists are very curious about Europa. Ice covers its surface. Scientists think that there may be an ocean underneath the ice. A spaceship named Galileo carried a smaller spacecraft called a probe. The probe went down into Jupiter's atmosphere. It measured temperatures and other things for about an hour before it was destroyed by storms. A spacecraft called Juno is filled with instruments that send information back to scientists on Earth. It is the first spacecraft to see beneath the thick clouds that surround Jupiter. Look at the sparkly rings around Saturn. Saturn's rings are the biggest and brightest in our solar system. The rings are made up of billions of bits of icy rocks. Some bits are as tiny as specks of dust. Others are the size of huge mountains. Saturn's biggest moon is called Titan. Titan is bigger than the planet Mercury. Saturn also has several very small moons. Walking all the way around one of the smallest moons would only take as long as walking around 5 city blocks. A spacecraft called Cassini reached Saturn in 2004. It was the first to orbit Saturn, and it will continue its orbit until 2017. On board Cassini was a lander called Huygens. It launched from Cassini to land on Titan. A parachute helped Huygens float to the surface. Uranus is tipped onto its side. Scientists think that a long time ago some huge space object, the size of a planet, may have crashed into Uranus. That crash caused Uranus to tip. Compare the picture of Saturn and Uranus below. Do you see how Uranus looks tipped? I see Uranus is the coldest of the 8 big planets. No one knows for sure how many moons orbit Uranus, but it has at least 27. There may be more that people who study space, called astronomers, have not yet found. A spacecraft called Voyager 2 is the only spacecraft that has flown near Uranus. It was close to the planet for only 5.5 hours as it traveled farther into space. Neptune is farther from the Sun than any of the other big planets. The weather on this planet is wild. Winds blow more than 1,000 miles an hour. Remember the Great Red Spot on Jupiter? Neptune also had a big storm like that. On Neptune, it was called the Great Dark Spot. Neptune has many storms that come and go. Triton is Neptune's largest moon. It is one of the coldest places in our solar system. Triton has volcano-like eruptions that burst from openings in the surface. Gas and dust explode up high, freeze instantly, and fall back down onto the moon like snow. After Voyager 2 flew by Uranus, it headed toward Neptune. There it discovered 6 moons. 7 others had already been found. So Neptune has at least 30 moons. The end.